because it's much easier for this major telco to have a better condition to supply the wholesale access to its own retail department compared to, well, it will have a lot of difficulties if someone wants to lease these access networks. And this caused competition problems as identified here. So even after the obligations imposed in Article 9 to 13, the interconnection and the local unbundling obligations, and there are still persisting competition problems. And they are market failure situations, and the regulators may consider to impose this functional separation measure as a exception, because it's quite drastic. Okay, the separation is to separate its wholesale department into an independent department. But still in the group, in this group, but as an independent department. That independent department should supply wholesale access to every telco. For example, if the retail department of telco capital A is telco small a, okay. So this independent wholesale access department should supply wholesale access to every telco, including its own retail department, under the same condition. So this is called, of course, there's a lot of arrangements involved in this, and we will talk about that later in this semester. But this is the idea of functional separation. When we talk about the separation of telcos, there are actually like two ways to separate a telco. The first way is we call it horizontal The first way to separate a telco is horizontally, which means to separate the telco by different business that it operates. One of the major examples is the breakup of AT&T company. And then we have this vertical separation, like this. Separate from this, like an upstream department and the downstream department, so that the upstream department can supply the wholesale access to every retail provider under the same condition. Okay, so this is what I mentioned here. That business entity should supply access products and the service to all other entities, including two other business entities within the parent company. Okay. refers to all undertakings here, including other business entities within the parent company, which is here on the same timescale, terms and conditions, including those relating to price and service and by the same system and process. Okay, so this is the idea of functional separation. But as you can see, it's quite a severe intervention of business operation because telco A was originally a very complete on its own. I mean, if the regulator imposed the obligation to functionally separate one of these departments, it's kind of intervention of the of business. So it's generally considered it's a very severe regulatory measure. Okay. And so this regulatory measure was introduced into the 2009 telecoms package by the then EU telecoms commissioner, the one that we have mentioned, who is very aggressive, Commissioner Viviana Reding. Sorry if I spell her name wrong. Okay, we have talked about her before. We are talking about the EU Institute and she was from Luxembourg. She was compared to previous the later commissioners in information society and media. She was kind of aggressive. She used a lot of aggressive. She introduced a lot of aggressive regulatory measures, including this one, functional separation regulatory measure. But there is another. I mean, why does the European Union just suddenly introduce this regulatory measure into their regulatory framework? Well, I have asked this question to one of my colleagues when I I have asked that question to one of my colleagues when I was doing my PhD in the United Kingdom. And that colleague, by colleague I mean she's actually my senior. We are under the supervision of the same supervisor. And at that time, she was the Officer General of the European Union in the telecoms regulation. And she told me because just a few years before the introduction of the 2009 telecoms package, as we know, 2009 telecoms package was drafted around 2007. But just a few years before, in year 2005, in the United Kingdom, their incumbent, in the United Kingdom, their regulator imposed this obligation onto their incumbent telco, which is BT. Okay, so the wholesale department that was separated from from BT was called OpenReach, but it's still under the big BT group. Okay, but functional separation is another one-off process. It's like an ongoing process because there are a lot of arrangements between how to separate and how to arrange all those personnel and between these separate departments. So even in 2005, the United Kingdom already functionally separate BT into BT other business and BT OpenReach. There's still a lot of things going on, and there's still a lot of disputes within the country, within the United Kingdom about whether this is good to separate BT. And then the British policies at that time was like this. If there's some policy dispute, we bring this to the European Union. So that if the European Union think it is a good idea, maybe we can convince the people in the United Kingdom. Okay, so if you understand the political climate in the European Union at that time, I think that makes perfect sense. Okay, so it very possibly because in 2005, the United Kingdom imposed this functional separation onto its incumbent telco, British Telecom, and to separate the BT into its wholesale department, OpenReach and other department. And then some people in the United Kingdom, they are happy about it. There was still some dispute within the country. So the British regulator Ofcom brought that regulatory measure to the European Union, and the European Union just take that into their 2009 telecoms package. Okay, so so these are the picture I just stolen from the internet. So this is original. I mean, this is the original BT logo, trade logo of British Telecom at that time of functional separation, and this is its current logo. But at that time, the logo was like this, and this is the OpenReach band. The band like we have seen in Taiwan, Taiwan Telecom, the yellow one, right? Trying to install line to maintain the line. In the United Kingdom, they also have bands like this, and they have the name OpenReach. And if we look more carefully, what we can see here, it says BT group business here. Uh-huh. Yeah, BT logo because it's still in the same group, still in the BT group, but separate department. It's not. When we talk about separation of telco, well, in fact, in Taiwan, we plan. I mean, the regulator, our regulator NCC, plan to introduce this regulatory measure in Taiwan several years ago. I think somewhere between 2013 and 14. I can't remember exactly. But failed. But that's not. But I mean, at that time, our regulator NCC thought it might be a